Welcome back from the weekend. I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Bush. I just want to say, man, it's been a very chill and eventful weekend. I didn't do too much. I like to go to the movies once a week. And, I got to catch up on old friends. I went to play poker down at the bar, got some just chill, hung out for a little bit on Saturday, chilled out yesterday at the movies. I got to see what was that I seen? The racing movie, the Formula One F1 movie. It was really entertaining, really good. I recommend people seeing that. I give it like a besides crashing on the scenes every but I liked the story behind it. It was short, it was simple, it had a lot of meaning to it about just not giving up, not letting it lose. There's a lot of fly stuff going on that movie with the cars and stuff like that. So I give it a 9.5. A very tough critic. I'm not a Brad Pitt has some good movies out, but I think this is one of his better performances. It wasn't too dramatic. Even in the dramatic scenes, he kept it cool. The whole movie. It was like a lot of stuff going on with hardship. It wasn't too detailed. It wasn't. It left a little bit. It could be a sequel to it. You know what I'm saying? It was very. Every scene was very interesting. So I give it. That was the highest one of the highest graded movies I had, and personally I like to drive. Even though I don't drive a lot, I like to drive. So I love that. That movie was really good. It was very entertaining. It wasn't. Teenagers definitely could see that movie. It wasn't nothing crazy in it. Young. If you're going like elementary and might maybe one scene it was a little, but for the majority part, if your parents there, you could watch the movie. It's a PG-13 movie at best, at worst. So it was a good movie. This week is gonna be, today we got basketball practice. Gearing up. It's 4th of July weekend coming up. Hopefully I get to see some family. Hopefully I don't know. I'm still around my mother and my sister, so I might not have to move. I wanted to get my child to come down here, like she comes most 4th of July. She spent a lot of 4th of July with us, so hopefully she could come down. We could move around a little bit. I got some family members. One of my favorite relatives, her birthday is on the 4th, and my youngest relative, one of my, she's very accomplished so far. Her birthday is on the 3rd, so happy early birthday to them. I'm going to say it on their days, but both of them are very strong individuals. Proud of both of them. So shout out to them. It's gonna be very cool. It's gonna be an interesting week. Hopefully, I get to have some fun like the old days. Pop some fireworks. We usually pop a little, but my sister do a good job. My younger sister do a good job having fireworks. So we probably gonna have some fireworks for the kids, the children, and we enjoy it. We got a little small grill. Probably cook something on the grill. Get some onions and peppers, put them in some hamburgers, and eat some hamburgers or something. I don't eat too much. No, I eat very simple. This week I actually cooked some black beans, rice. And made me a Chipotle bowl, black beans, rice. Cut some steak up and some chicken. It was pretty good. I ate that last night before I went to the movie. So, my skills, my chef skills still on point. It was very tasteful. It's gonna be big. Today is a big day political in the political world. During the weekend over the they gotta make they splash before us and one of these United States American holidays, which is Independence Day. They gotta make their splash, make a scene. They voting on the bill. Right now, I just seen the unofficial. I know it's probably changed since it was 51 no and 49 yes. So the bill is still split. This is to see if it's going to be law. This is through the judges. This is through the high-powered lawyers that's working out all the argument sides and last points of views. A lot of it has to do with the Medicaid getting getting cut. Some seniors are not able to pay for their pay. The people who work for this country won't be able to pay for their medical bills. I still, I think people, also people have disabilities. They're gonna get a disability cut probably in half or some crazy number. They talking like it was like $16 billion, whatever number they saying. All these numbers are coming out. They've been talking about it for a couple last 2 or 3 weeks. So and then there was another issue with conjoining whatever the birthright citizenship got denied, whatever issue they had with that. That was basically about the 14th Amendment and people basically being human beings, like the black and brown people who were deemed slaves. I don't know if they're trying to say that we're still slaves or not, or they're doing the immigration with taking people back to their countries or kicking them out of this country. But I'm gonna play y'all a short video about the 14th Amendment of what it was stood for in the beginning, and when Abraham Lincoln, they recall the real reason why they stopped having slaves is because there was too many slaves. They didn't have no work for them. They were basically it's always going to end up happening. The smarter and more intelligent being start monopolizing whatever circumstance is given, which has always been proven that the African descended people are way more smarter than the European, the degenerate people. I'm not being funny or prejudiced. I'm just telling you the testing, the years over years and hundreds of years. Every time they get in authority, they like to show their pride by defaming being what do you call it, mentally and physically abusive. That's the way that they show that they're better. The way that we show that we're better is intellectually strengthening ourselves, unifying ourselves, working as a team, walking over and past and through these people. So over and over, they get shown that that is the most legitimate way to win, but they don't understand or comprehend because there's something in their neurological system that says that we have to do it this way. We have to show that because we're white or because we're from Europe or wherever they claiming at the time, that they have to be this way. There was people on this United States, North America land before they called themselves discovering it. These people were thrown out of London, Britain. They were the degenerates of these countries. So they had to form and make this. That's why it was war in the beginning. That's why they had to stake claim to something, because that's what they were sent out the country to do. They were pirates, they were scavengers. These people did not have nothing when they was at their land. They stole, they left. They was kicked out. They had a new chance. All this stuff is in movies and books. All this stuff is known in America. This is American knowledge. Like, this ain't no hidden secret. So I'm confused by these people who, they basically got the same type of people in office right now. It's definitely it's not split evenly. They just have the resources to them. They have the House, they have the presidential seat, and then we got the judges and we got this, the soldiers, and it ain't no joke, because at the end of the day, they not gonna have the soldiers and the judges on their side if they take away they try to take it. They try to take everything away and monopolize everything and control everything. It's not going to work. They're not that intelligent. They're not that smart. Then they want to outsource. It's going to be like anybody but the blacks, anybody but the people of power, or then they're going to sell themselves short, and then they're going to be way at the bottom still. They're going to end up selling everybody out because of pride. So, that's the biggest issue right now. Now, I'm going to vote, keep everything kind of in the even playing field. And that's the biggest, that's the most, I ain't trying to be like, I'm gonna put it like this. at the end of the day, for me personally, I see myself expanding outside of the United States. I've made certain types of friends, and I haven't even touched base of what I'm gonna do. Like I'm barely like I'm not saying I'm at the 10%, 15% range. I'm more at the 20, 25% range now. Cause I can't go like I don't see myself having no more setbacks. So the road is rolling already. The youngest that I first started coming with, they becoming young men completely. You know what I'm saying? I see that every day. Like it's getting more and more vivid to me. So I'm not really tripping about, I'm trying to be more of stay the same when it comes to giving out game. But some people they still haven't paid me. So, I'm still operating at a 20, 25% range, but it's still gonna happen for me if that makes sense to people that I'm communicating with online. Um it's bound to happen. I didn't expect the if I'm able to get something a large lump sum um via the just working with the United States of America in a very legitimate, very organized way, and they come at the table correctly. I've worked for certain people. They did not want to give me resources because of how the age or where this he say this slander, this defamation, this that my people, this that all that happens all the time when you're coming up. I just took a step back. I wasn't working for free no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't giving out. I stopped giving out so much. You know what I'm saying? I just had to take a step back. I got a child. I got nieces and nephews, and everything's still gonna work out in my favor. I strongly believe that. I don't mind spreading the grace and the joy of winning to people though. That's not a big deal to me. I still, like I said, I go to bed. People try to put me sleep still. You know what I'm saying? It been happening. I talk about this all the time, so try not to mention it. But it's real life. Like, people might be going through the same thing I'm going through still. Like it happens to me still. Like it's still people want me not to speak. So I'm not defaming nobody. I'm speaking very generally. I talk very, very, once you put yourself in the biggest public forum, I can speak on you as well. I don't care how many people get mad or don't agree. They're not even able to speak like me. They can't even come on these YouTube or in a forum. They're very their education, their let's put it like this, their vocabulary, their knowledge of the government it's white. It's like it's ball. It's small. It's peanut brain. You know what I'm saying? They not working with it, and I'm not. And I'm being like, the more I speak to other people, the more you will hear me talk in a bigger, more elaborate, more detailed. All that stuff happens. Like you see, like I can't. I've done a couple interviews. I've done an interview or two, and I've actually conducted an interview. I actually, what I'm saying, you see more out of me when you have that one-on-one session. So, or even conversation. So, that's known if you know me. So, we're gonna get back to the topic now. The first thing we're gonna do a little 7 minute. It's a 7 minute about the voting on the big bill, whatever they calling that, and then we're finna do the quick message or it's basically giving you knowledge of the 14th Amendment, how it was formed. So, y'all gonna listen to that, and then we're gonna talk some sports, and I'm gonna go. I've talked a little bit detailed about the movie. I talked about what it was about, but I might give y'all. I ain't gonna say too much. It's a regular show, but it's a lot going on that's very political. That's very important. So hopefully y'all doing y'all research. Hopefully y'all paying attention. Hopefully y'all got y'all phone talking to the right people in the cities and states. They can relay the message to the people in Washington. Whoever got those types of connects, I suggest that you go out there and make these. They're doing it right now. So a text message, if you have a text message saying, "Hey, make sure y'all hit these points. Don't forget about these points." This is live, especially my age group. I don't have, I'm trying my best to catch up to the internal of the government. So I'm just doing my research now, and then in a year or two, I'll definitely be they'll definitely see me. You know what I'm talking about? So I ain't really tripping about it. It's like, I still got to complete the mission of make sure the city and the community that I'm already put seeds in are, I got children here. So that's my flesh and blood. So I have to make sure the stuff is operating properly. I don't got, I got, it's people from my, kitty days, children days, my childhood days that's not even operating at a, I ain't like my friends that I know for a fact, my friends that I had acquired when I was younger were not the people that like, they weren't trying to bring me down. You know what I'm saying? And then the older I get, there's more people that try to tag along. You know what I'm saying? In the worst way, like they got some kind of vendetta of competition. It ain't no competition really. You wasn't here in the beginning. You know that line, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. That's the type of like energy I'm having. Like if you wasn't in the gym, you wasn't on the field court for real. Like you know what I'm saying? Like personal, like you wasn't there every day. Like I'm not stunning you like that. Like it ain't even And if I ain't teach you no game on the field or off the field, you know what I'm saying? That's not that important to me. You got to be around. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be looking at certain things. Like some people you just drop off. Like father, like like that's why I started Elite Youth Association. I really know that people who know the beginning of that, and I ain't never say the name as much, but I'm just saying I put it out there. And then if you went around that time, my teams that I was a part of, my section was Elite Youth Association. My groups that I coached, the people that I was around, the youngest I was around, they know what it is. My door is open to speak. They probably got more resources because that's how it's designed. They want them to lose everything, and then what I'm saying. I never indulged in that way. I always was on the coaching side. I was always on the other side of the fence. Just as a young, I know how I go. You got to get your degree, da blah. That ain't the way I wanted to do it anyway. So it's gonna work out for the better of me anyway. That's how it's gonna be. Now let's get right into it. This is about the 14th Amendment. Now I'm gonna let you listen, then I'm gonna go into my what I feel about. All right. Basically, what I'm saying, okay, I don't know exactly what the text is in these amendments where they consider black people 1/3 of a person, but it's still in our text in our constitution or whatever. They all written a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm not saying it like in a, I don't consider myself actually black. It's on my thing is black, but I know what I actually am. So I'm definitely not 1/3 of a person. I'm definitely the strongest. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely from the strongest. I don't care what nobody says. This is made up. The United States this small in the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? This small. Everybody knows this. So it'd be people out here all gassed up, drugged out, mentally disturbed individuals out here looking crazy and goofy because they are part of the United States. You're supposed to feel a very strong sense of being a part of the United States because you live here. But then it comes to, then you gotta get then you wake up and you gotta be like, I'm actually just me. Nobody. Yeah, that's what you're actually the 1/3. All y'all did was flip the word in, make it seem like, pump yourself up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The type of stuff that y'all do for power internally is crazy how it was designed. But it's like, we speaking on it, we can speak on it. So we're not in those times where you can even control what I say. Like you can't even speak. You have nothing to say but lies and death and the deceit. Like you don't have nothing strong and powerful about you for real. So I don't have to put you down to make myself strong. You got to do that, not me. So it doesn't correlate with me. I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? I'm stump on you. You're a cockroach. You're a piece of turd on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. So now that's discussed. Now we can move on. Uh, let's talk about like I said, I'm also I be getting off track because I be thinking about some other stuff. But the 14th Amendment, like I was saying, it's like it's a grade. They deporting people, but they said people born here, you're good, you're a United States citizen. Now that we have a very white supremacist minded, I don't know if he's actually white. He's looking more and more like the prejudiced white supremacist that we was afraid that he might be. So, I don't mind people being rich and living in a society of not knowing what the hell going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where he's from. But if you get more and more into the information you gain, don't go into the white supremacist side. It's a lot of people out here who are mad because they still not getting exactly what they want. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff has to do with him getting his way today. If he don't get his way, y'all gonna see somebody really be upset. Y'all gonna see a lot of rich people that are like, that's the greedy people. You know what I'm saying? The greedy, selfish people that have taken advantage of people. I know what wealth is. Wealth is having estates, having land. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of confusion. You know what's crazy about this whole that lady with that birthright? It's people that are black or that they call black that are African descended that have a lot of wealth that whites have stolen. You know what I'm saying? They don't, this all based off how the text on that dollar bill says debt note. And then they take what they want at any given time. That's what it's designed on. It's a big Ponzi scheme already. So, we don't really we come from my I know for a fact a lot of people know my family is part of you can go either way. We could claim that they stole a lot from us already. We could claim we wasn't supposed to be enslaved, whatever they may be. I tell them to speak like this because I don't consider myself defeated. I don't care what the circumstances is. I will not be defeated. I will not all hell nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I will never sell out. Never, ever in my life. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I do not care about how y'all feel about it. I'm not going to hit all hell shit. Nothing. You ain't nothing to me. So, I don't feel that, the down and out about it. I just know that at the end, when y'all lose, that side loses, that kill your, these people basically be like, it's like suicide or me type of vibes. Like, who has that vibe? Because you can't get power and control. You don't have the gift of power of internal strength. You know what I'm saying? They don't have it. It ain't in them. It ain't built from that. They ain't come from that. So it's like I don't feel, like I said, the only time I feel a little bit like when I'm asleep, going to bed at night. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time you can even claim to be, on my level. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can reach me. Like, and I'm talking about the very evil people. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind people who have the same energy as me, speaking to me, talking to me. I'm talking about the people that's low level, very narrow minded, very peanut brain. You know what I'm saying? I don't, it don't reach me. So, you know what I'm saying? I crush all that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's continue, man. We ain't gonna speak too much on it. But let's the last about but the bill. We're gonna see what they talking about. This was about an hour ago. They dropping news after news today because it's a lot going on right now. A lot been happened. A lot has happened. There's something else before after this, so we're gonna let this. Okay. See, these people want internal war. They want to build borders and start war and all that. That's like what for what? We ain't like that for what? They want to get reimbursed $150 billion for what? What are you what for what? What do you need to reimburse the people that need to get paid? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's people that y'all already stole from. Pay them. I don't want to hear nothing about no building a border, no nothing. I don't want to hear none of that. This is not that time. We're not living in the 1800s and 1700s. You know what I'm saying? Y'all causing all this war in different countries. We're not supposed to be doing this right now. Y'all need to invest in establishing peace. Y'all need to invest in the people that have the strength to defend, the strength to amend, the faith to the strength to come together and make sure we are able to retaliate if we get attacked. Don't put no old stupid dummy out here that don't crash 5 million times and still trying to crash. We don't need that energy right now. We way beyond that. So, it's kind of confusing with these people coming up here saying this dumb junk. I cannot. You better not vote yes for this. Like, it was two different sides. The one was like, hey, y'all know people is living in these 55 and up shit. They need help still, and then y'all putting people out on the street and they like saying like why that's gonna look so horrible. Like, it's gonna be chaotic. You're gonna be people on the streets just like the Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? When you at level 12 and 13, and they trying to get it to that. They're trying to make it like that. When we pass this bill, y'all gonna be at so many people gonna be at level 12, 13, 10, and 9 and 8, 8 and down. That's what that level we're gonna be at, striving for every little thing. You know what I'm saying? So they really wanted to be. It won't be like that the next day, but it's gonna get like that very fast. I will give you a year or two right after he leave office. They gonna blame the next president because he's gonna make it seem all shiny. Then boom, when he leaves, gonna be like, yeah, that was a whole Ponzi scheme if it wasn't. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. basically, this is basically what I said. I'm glad, like, people reporting on this. I'm being honest. This guy's the minority leader. That's what they say, which is still more people on the minority side. I don't know how they still doing that. That's backwards talking if it ain't. But this guy, shout out to the what is the college electorals? Well, I'm just being sarcastic when I say shout out to them. But seriously, I be looking at it like this. Some of these people play both sides. He's definitely one of the people that play both sides. But this bill is definitely gonna be very excruciating to. If we pass this bill, it's gonna be hard to come from under it. It's already a Ponzi scheme. It's like when you stack shit on top of shit. That's what they're finna do. But it's gonna be at a higher clip, higher rate. You know what I'm saying? I don't even, like I tell you, I don't even think I'm gonna lose because I know what it is. It's about earning, it's about having the people behind you. It's about gaining respect the hard way, not the easy way. And I already put my foot on these pavements and did hard work. And I teach my children and my family, we all have these. We not gonna give up. I'm just talking about personally, but overall, a lot of people not gonna get the message. A lot of people not gonna understand what's happening with all that. All right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a lot of so many people there's people try to sell me out to the government. You know what I'm saying? For having a child. That's weird. That's crazy. Like, what is that? What is that? Like, so I could easily be on the other side and say, yeah, forget all that. You know what I'm saying? All y'all go down. But I have a females have to wake up and don't go against the men in the family who have their child with. You can separate yourself, but you don't got to go against. And that's one thing my mom showed me when my dad and my mom moved. They separate apart. They never went against each other. They definitely separated when I was a certain age, but they did not go against each other. That's facts. I would not be upright if that was the case that happened. So, I would suggest, when you have a child with someone, you try your best. I had to beg and plead the person that I had my child with to get off child support because fighting the whole state of Florida plus federally trying to take all my, it put me behind for real. I can't even count. It did. Like, that's like you signing up. You joined the snitch trial. You might well you probably still committed. I don't even know what really be going on with that, but that's like a full commitment when you go in there. The way they set me up in that courtroom, yeah, that was lit. They was tripping. I could replay it over and over, but I'm like, y'all really wild out here. I was 23 years old. I'm like, man, y'all is tripping. I couldn't believe what I was saying in there. Like I had this on road. I was like, oh my goodness, but man, that was time. I'm just happy she let me off. But you guys, that's still bad. That's bad karma, man. I tell you, I don't like to use that K word, but that is bad. It's not good. That's like signing. That's like seeing it. When they was first enslaving blacks. That's like putting somebody right back up there. That's exactly how that was. I was like, man. But yeah, it's crazy because like I don't wish that on nobody. Like going to prison, getting on child support. These are all backwards ways of living. Like they don't. Mm-mm. Look, it's jail, child support, prison. I'm with the child support is in the middle of both. That's how it is for real. I don't care how much the money is. They definitely in your business. They definitely want to consider you a loser if you got to get put on child support. I don't care what nobody say. If you put yourself on there, that's an agreement to make sure everything. They want to be in your business anyways. But yeah, that jump wild. And then you put your child in danger by putting all of her business out, trying to get something from these people. They don't even want to give you nothing in the first place. That's backwards. So yeah, everybody learned their lesson on that. I wouldn't, but who? They know how I got. Yeah. But nah, man, we're gonna end it. Oh, let me real quick. Nah, I ain't gonna speak on it, man. You know what? It was a big fentanyl bust. Shout out to those people out there. I was gonna talk about. I was gonna play it. I don't really gotta get them no shine time. People doing work like that. I don't want people to destroy the marijuana plant. I'm not. I don't indulge now, but I will support, the legalization of it, because I know how helpful it could be to athletes and to people who have children and to healing. And, I'm not against that plant at all. So, just don't abuse it. You know what I'm saying? People want to go around messing up a plant that I really remember learning about in grade school. It was nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you didn't abuse it. So it made no sense how in 2025 people had tried to deem that plant the worst plant, and we still selling cigarettes in the corner store and every store you go into. You know what I'm saying? It ain't adding up. But hopefully they get everything situated. We get that plant protected. You know what I'm saying? Definitely other ways to heal yourself. Looking more to the natural way when if they do pass this bill, there's so many natural ways to heal yourself. Put real natural herbs in your system. I would suggest that. So much stuff out. Not at GMC, but just do your research. There's people making these stuff, making it happen for us to stay alive and to stay healthy and to stay strong. So, you catch you take that information the way you want it. But go walk, go run, do your push-ups, do you sit. I know I'm very lazy when it comes to push-ups and sit-ups, but I definitely make sure I keep my endurance up. So I don't play about my endurance. I could do 5 miles right now easily. It's just walking and running, jogging. That's not in that to me. I could hoop right now and drop of a dime. But I definitely know I've been eating good, and I don't. Hey, people want to make it hard for me to earn some real funds out here. I'm gonna enjoy myself, watch my entertainment and stay out the mix as much as they trying to make me stay out of it. So yeah, I'm definitely not in a bad space, like I said. So y'all make sure y'all take these notes and you get something from it. Me speak, hopefully get something from it. I would say get something from it. Hopefully get something from it. Now, what did I miss today? Oh, we go right until today. We're gonna speak a little bit about a couple basketball teams. I looked up the Southeastern Conference. Now, I ain't gonna go through every team. I'm trying to finish the whole conference, in a couple of days. The two teams I looked into were the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. I'm actually, let's just put it like this. Me being in Florida, those two teams are not far from my state. So I actually want to see those teams do pretty good. Now, Atlanta, I'd say I've been saying this probably the last 3-4 years. This might be the last year because he did have a good playoffs. It wasn't great. They didn't get past the first round. Or they might even get past. They might have made it past the play-in, but they didn't get past the first round. I think they made it past the play-in. But anyways, they made it to the play-in definitely. Atlanta, this is how I look at them. Trae Young I won't call him overrated. He's slightly overrated. Let's put it like that, slightly. And I don't disrespect his offensive game, but his liability on defense is so big. Pick and roll, big guards posting him up, dropping 30 to 40 points on SGA type guards. And I'm giving SGA because he won MVP. You have to be able to handle these players. When you get in, the league is switching everything. So when you get in the playoffs, it's very difficult for him to be on the court because everybody can score. And it's all kind of ways to score. The game is that skilled now. So he's a liability. Now, to hype him up, if you are a team with defensive prowess on the perimeter and you need guard scoring, this will be a good time to trade this guy, Atlanta. There's so many young players come. I seen that this class is going to be a special class. I could tell there's no talking being done. That's all I can say. A lot of these guys, the last few years, ain't been speaking on these. They ain't even with the whole pom-poms and parade and getting drafted. They be like, thank you for the opportunity. Let's get to work. And I like the way it's getting like that because it's the SGA. Nobody he was definitely somebody that was when he was picked could have taken over the league. You know, he had the opportunity. He was a lottery pick, but he wasn't the number one pick. So it was a lot of people picked before SGA. So people still hungry. There's people still feeling like they better than SGA. And then you got those older players that are going to be Hall of Famers: Steph, LeBron, KD, James Harden, CP3 still playing. These guys are Hall of Famers. I don't want to miss no big men. Is any big man out there? I might be missing a couple big men. You know, Anthony Davis is in his 30s now. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's stepping up? You know, Donovan Mitchell? No, I don't. He's the defensive liability as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a youth. It's gonna be a youth. It's gonna be like a takeover. You know what I'm saying? Like what they say. I seen somebody say LeBron might retire next year. All kind of stuff. Because KD gets hurt every few years. You know, it's hard for him to stay. All this stuff that's being reported. You know, especially on the surface. Not, you know, I know they're not trying to embarrass them or deteriorate the league or deter these people from. You know, I think it motivates them more now because they're older. They understand the game, but I'm speaking very honestly about what actually has happened. I know Lonzo Ball just got traded to Cleveland. I like that trade a lot. Cleveland need that perimeter defense, need that true point guard. It was very, very glaring. And they traded a player that was expendable because they got a couple players that could take that place, but they do not have a point. I put people like, you know, if Lonzo stay healthy, he's at the realm of point guard. Just staying healthy. Like his ability to see the floor, his ability to pass is very, very high level. And he had a very strong IQ of just understanding the game. You know what I'm saying? He just got to stay healthy. I'm actually a Lonzo Ball fan. I want to see him be, you know, I think he's the purest point guard out of everybody. You know, him and his brother. His brother is definitely a scorer. So he's trying to get 30 on you. And he still can give you 8 to 10, 8 to 12. So, you know, he's superstar caliber. His brother is definitely more of a Chauncey Billups type guard, control the team. I think he was at a very, you know, had Chicago going this way till he got hurt them 2 years, them final two times he got hurt. It really set him back. Just him like getting his strength. I think it was a core issue, all that stuff like that. So, you know, that was, you know, that's and the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know what they're doing. They just drafted 2 more guards, 2 or 3 more guards, 2 guards and a forward that play guard and forward. And I haven't really looked into either of them. Then they drafted a center, which they probably definitely needed help to protecting the rim. Miles Bridges still on the team. I like that. I like him and Lonzo, but they both are more. You know, they both play pretty. They play okay. Lonzo, LaMelo, if he committed more defensively, his length is there. Just commit to that. It's so hard when you're young and you're trying to compete to be a all-star and you're on a team that's losing. You got to put your points up. Then you got to actually try to win. It's like, would I want to play defense and get 20 to 25, or do I want to get 30 and 12 and just go crazy? You know what I'm saying? Up and down, shooting it. Everybody out here playing for themselves. Well, if you take a little bit of your selfishness and put it on the unselfishness side, and then gravitate toward, you know, I would suggest him just getting that, finding that power forward and that center on your team, and then just locking in what I think you got your small forward. I think Miles Bridges definitely plays good defense on the perimeter when they, you know, everybody know what it is, but hopefully they could stay healthy and them two get the boys, because they already at LaMelo's 4th year. He had injury issues, but I don't think they was that substantial. I think they could all come together. They could easily be a 6 or 7 seed turnaround, if not higher. So I like Charlotte. I don't even know all the guys' name. I just looked at the list. They just drafted 4 more people. I'm like, yeah, the talent ain't the problem. It's like finding that system, finding your core. Now it's up to the people that I just mentioned have to say, hey, whatever the coach say, this what the team, the people that want to consider themselves captains have to take that this group, this is the most athletic, the most talented people on the team. The rest of y'all is second string. You know what I'm saying? You if you ain't, me as a coach, I identify that within a 10-minute span of new players. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is put the test out. Now, who's the person that could speak and command? Who's the person who's gonna not quit? You know what I'm saying? All this stuff, it happens within a 2 or 3 practices. So it's like, and then if you show you only get a year to show that you be faking. So if you faking this year, you're gonna fake the next year. So once you commit to not being fake and being consistent and real, you know what I'm saying? It's all the show, you get paid, you got your endorsements, all that good, sound good, but you gotta be committed to winning. So, if you ain't committed to winning, you ain't gonna be a superstar. You just gonna be a talented player. So that's all for Charlotte. I don't see how they're not making the playoffs. I've been high on them. They was trajecting at a really good rate, and then they just went right back down to the gutter at the end of the line. And the way the league doing the first round pick, you can't get the first pick unless you got a chance to turn it around completely and win championships. That's why Dallas got it this year. Cleveland got it 2 years and all that. They got good front offices, and you got to be able to be committed to winning. They actually know how to pick people who know how to turn a team around. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for the Charlotte Hornets, and who else I talked about today? And the Atlanta Hawks. Trade Trae Young, get you a big man. They just drafted a guy very similar to Clint Capella, but he seems like he's very agile defensively. He has the ability to pass. He has the ability to shoot. He's very consistent. He was picked number 23, so it was a late to mid. It could have been a lottery pick. Right in between. So he got talent. He's a little slow-footed, like athleticism. He doesn't get off the ground as high as some players do, but he got the length to recover for that. So Atlanta, they didn't have a lot of draft picks, but they got a solid draft pick. They got a player that could potentially start right away in that first round. So, they definitely need help on defense and on the perimeter. And he do a good job protecting the rim for sure. So, those two teams is what I'm breaking down today. Like I said, I'm in the South, so I just, I definitely see they games, like they highlights and games are always on the news feeds for me. So Charlotte and Atlanta, and I'm stationed in Florida, so hey, that's it. I haven't done a lot of football for NFL, and I think something happened this week in NFL, but I gotta get more in tune with it. I haven't, I'm actually a really big football fan, so I'm just like trying to it's so much politics. I talk about it all the time with NFL. The way it's set up, NFL is about this close away from being in the army. Like is that type of athletic, that type of, when you learn, when you know how America is set, they put army football. It's kind of that way. It's been that way since the time. It's kind of helped that we have more ways of streams of income, but that's really what it was designed on. You know what I'm saying? With the draft, with all that stuff going on, they don't tell the history enough. Same with baseball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm big on making sure they get everything right, and then all the white supremacists getting cleared out of the NFL before I fully commit to even being associated with that. But I definitely respect a lot of those players. I'm a fan of the football league as far as the players, so that's all for me. Now, I don't really have much to say, man. Y'all stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot going on with this. I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a decision today or tomorrow. So, hopefully everything goes correctly as God's plan. God's highly ranked children who's supposed to be in authority are able to come break through and not have these roadblocks or monetary roadblocks or spiritual roadblocks. Hopefully everything works out that needs to work out. You know what I'm saying? So, and you review. It's still stuff going on with those executive orders. He trying to make a deal with Britain and London, and so much that I don't talked about. I got a review. Coming at the end, I might do a review. I'm gonna do a review Thursday. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just go through the last few weeks and then just highlight the stuff I do all the time every month that passed me one into a new month, new executive orders, new people trying to dictate the way this world's supposed to be, and they don't have a clue what the world is really like because they so far high up in their realm or world, whatever they calling that. But I just went in on our governor. I think we're gonna see some changes in the students. I know for a fact Broward got the message. And you know what I'm saying? I ain't really playing by my child. I can't say too much. I gotta still put a lot of work in. That's all I'm gonna say. I gotta put a lot of work in. I'm not done. I'm not operating my highest yet. And that's gonna get to that level. So I'm not worried. I'm never quitting. I'm not gonna give up on myself. And I'm definitely not gonna have my child be subjugated to no slavery type of energy for her life. It ain't going down. And trust me, I ain't threw no rocks yet. So if you think I'm throwing, I'm just using what y'all got. I'm using y'all tools. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did it this way. Y'all wanted it this way. We just gonna go to a higher level than y'all. That's it for y'all. This is it, Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Bush. Y'all stay tuned. Come tomorrow. Hopefully, might have something good in the works. Hopefully, we do. Hopefully, don't. Whatever might happen, it happens. But I appreciate y'all listening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.